Welcome to the Jaded Kisses show. This is the Friday night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jaded Kisses social. I'm your host, Jaded Kisses, and today we have a special guest. Her name is Kimberly Marshall of LaSheaVibez. She is a YouTube guru. She is a mother, and she's an entrepreneur. We sit down with her to discuss motherhood, culture, and how she maintains her individuality in a cookie-cutter world.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? I'm awesome. How was your day, Mama?
Exactly, Mama. Carrying wonderful.
Right.
Looking forward to this sit-down and chit-chat.
Definitely. So for the people who aren't familiar with Kimberly Marshall and LaSheaVibez, give a brief introduction of who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Kimberly Marshall. Like she mentioned, to the YouTube world, I'm known as LaSheaVibez. LaShe is actually my middle name, and I picked up vibes because I'm a free spirit, very outgoing and loving. I've been in my current career for 15 years, and also in the beauty and cosmetic industry of 10 years. Currently took on the role of a lifetime that I'm so excited about. A new mom of almost my son will be 2 years old this Sunday, May 1st, and I'm just a people person, very social. I attend a lot of events, always loving the support and, be there for my friends. I'm a marketing manager is my major, and also have a degree in public relations. So I just love people and the whole vibe and social world and all of that good stuff. So that's me in a nutshell.
You say it so calmly, but there's so much more that you do, and I love that. Congratulations on being a mom. Your son is gorgeous. And
thank you.
How did you get started on YouTube?
You know what? I think you were part of my inspiration. I actually started that channel in 2011, and I had went natural maybe in 2009. I was just going through a change. I've always been really natural and really in touch with self. I guess the word that a lot of my friends or people would explain me is kind of very Afrocentric. So I've always wore head wraps and turbans and all that. And my hair was really natural. I wore a lot of braids for years. So it was really natural. So I just decided to chop it off and just start sharing, with the world, my journey, because people would always stop me and ask me what I was using or what I was doing. So I just started the channel, and then it kind of took off. I met people, started winning contests, and, I got a lot of free stuff, and, it just went from that point. But, yeah, I love it, and still posting to this day. I was thinking about setting up a channel for my son because there's so many things that I'm learning as a new mom, even though I'm not old, but, I'm in my late 30s. You're always learning things, that I think that a lot of my friends, even newer moms, may not even be aware of things that I know. So I was thinking about putting together a channel for that in my spare time. So,
and I think that's needed, especially. And I never really knew that. Like, I know we've had chats about me doing different things, but I've always had my hands in different things. And another reason why I started doing videos really, truly was because of you. Do you remember the conversation we had in Macy's about videos?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I remember.
Right.
Yeah,
so
you were like
basically we inspired each other.
Exactly. And I will forever be grateful, and I will always support you.
Likewise, and people don't really know, like, we worked together at a retail store, and we would meet each other in passing and be like, oh, who does your hair? And I think that's how we really kind of started talking. And then the more we talked, it was like, oh, we both had YouTube videos. What I love about you was you were never afraid to share what you knew with other black females, not necessarily knocking any other race, but when it comes to women of color, there's this stigma that you can't work together. And then there's this other thing, especially in our communities, of little brown girl blues, where most people come to the table with this broken thing where society has told us because you're darker than a certain color, it's going to be harder in life. Like, normally the jobs go to the lighter, brighter, the whiter, because it's seen as better. And then when we come in to work with one another as brown girls, we're already coming with baggage and predisposed, like preconditioned ways of viewing one another. Because when you look around in the news and everything else, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll let you finish your statement.
But with that,
you're on so many subjects. Go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'll go on.
But with working with one another, especially in the industry that we work in a fashion and beauty business, and that it's already not a lot of us there, but a lot of the ones that are there are real catty. And instead of saying, hey, sis, I see you're coming in, let me help you, it's more of let me figure out a way to keep you from being great. And what I loved about you, and you never were afraid to share what you knew with me. And it worked with the same way. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. So whenever I saw you doing something, if I could be there, I was there. And that's something that I truly, truly don't see anymore. So with becoming a new mother and with being in the industry, how has your worldview of family changed from going from what your parents taught you to being single and on your own, and to now having a son in a very racial world? How has your worldview changed in all of that?
Well, you know what? I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Shout out all my East Coast people. It's funny that, you're talking about the whole, the colorism. And, I grew up, I have my mom's family is very large, and there's a lot of girls on my mom's side, my dad's side too. But I grew up really close to all my first cousins on my mom's side, and I'm the darkest girl. And I had the same conversation with one of my coworkers, here, and I'm the darkest girl. But I never felt like indifferent or ugly. I never felt that. I never got that. I always, was the fashionable one, the one that everybody wanted to know how I did my hair or how will you do your makeup. Like, I've always been into, I guess cosmetics and beauty and hair and all that from a little girl. So I never experienced that type of, real disconnect or felt like, oh, somebody's better. So I didn't grow up with that in me, or I don't feel bitter toward, anybody, or don't want to support. I'm extremely supportive, especially when I see a sister trying to do her thing. I'm really, and I guess that's part of the public relations marketing in me, in my character, that I will link you to people. I'm always thinking and linking and supporting other people of all colors. I have friends of all races, especially working in the beauty industry. And having my son, I think having my son has opened up a world. I've always been a giving person, but now since I have my son, I believe I'm more giving than I've ever been in my entire life. He just gives me a happiness and a joy that I've never experienced, and I love that I can't even explain. But I've never, I guess just the way I grew up, and my mom kept me very well protected, and I did grow up in a predominantly white school. I remember going to elementary, and I was like always the tallest girl and, the darkest girl, and I grew up predominantly in a white neighborhood, but I never felt any different. I always had a lot of talents and skills, I guess, to kind of put me above. The people were intrigued to know, like, Kim, where did you get that belt, or how did you know to put that together? I guess, just the type of person I was. I never experienced that, so I don't have them or hold grudges against people about their skin color, or if I find somebody interesting, I'll just get to know the person and build from that point. And that's how I am, and how my character is.
And that's something that you're going to see in your son as well, because, even though they pick up a lot of traits from their father, but as far as dealing with their relationships and things, they see that in their mom.
Yes.
Now,
and my son is very, 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 I travel. We do a lot of traveling with him. He's very exposed, even though he's going to be 2. He's extremely smart. I have him going to school now. I mean, he's just extremely smart, and I do want him to be very, very open, you know, and I know this world is crazy, and, you know, make sure he's educated and, you know, close to me and is understand. I want him to be business smart, street smart, you know, book smart,
right.
you know, all the smarts that I can possibly give him, that he's aware. But I want to make sure that he's well-traveled. Like, for, you know, his birthday, he's going to be getting a passport. You know, we are going to be, because I travel, you know, international and everything, I'm going to make sure that he's well-traveled, too. He's already been on several trips, but, you know, within the U.S. But, yeah, I'm going to make sure my son is well-rounded. I want him to be a people person and, you know, like you said, like, be like me, you know, giving and loving and caring, but don't be a fool for nobody, you know.
That's a beautiful thing. So with being a mom, how do you maintain who you are as a separate and completely different entity from who people thought you were and even who you thought you were when you were going to be younger? How do you maintain your individuality in a world that's really, really cookie cutter and everyone wants to look like the ultimate European standard or even just this unrealistic Photoshopped, you know, magazine world? How do you maintain with your heritage and your culture in a world that everyone looks the same?
You know what? I guess I've always been me, and I've always, I guess, kind of stood out, and people respect me for being me and not trying to be anything else. You know, with my son, I had my son, I was 37 years old, so I had already did a lot of living. I did a lot of traveling, you know. I was married. I was divorced. So I had been through some pretty interesting things. I mean, life overall for me has been wonderful. You know, I don't look at anything negative. Everything has been such a blessing and an experience, and everything I have grown from, you know, each experience. But I have always been true to self. Like, I work, you know, corporate America, I will wear my afro. I have gone to work in head wraps. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, even when I had got my hair cut off in 2009, a lot of the other females I noticed had started going naturals, and that sparked, you know, conversations and what are you using, and go ahead and check out my channel and, you know, things of that sort. So I have always been true to self. I don't know how to be any other way. You know, I wouldn't know how to be fake or phony. You know, and I'm going to raise my son to be exactly who he is, and whatever gifts or talents he has, we're going to spill on that, and I'm going to make him be the best person or the best, you know, young man and grow up to be a grown man that he can possibly be, but always be true to self.
Beautiful. What is the best and the worst advice you've gotten on being a woman having a career?
Let me see the best and worst advice. I guess I can't think of any worse advice I've gotten because I am really a worker. Like, I never remember in all my days, even in my younger years, never having less than 2 incomes at once. Like, I never remember not having 2 forms of steady income at one time, never. So I can't, like, I'm my own person. I can't remember anybody telling me anything negative or even offer me, because everybody always be like, girl, how do you work like that? Or how do you do that? How do you have all these jobs? You know, how do you do all this? Or how do you think of all these things to do to make money, you know? So I think people always kind of like respect the hustle, you know, or, you know, what I do or how I grind or how I get my thing going on, you know?
Right.
So, I don't think I've had anybody give me any negative advice or any advice. Usually it's questions on how I'm able to do it all and, you know, or how you travel so much or how do you do all this stuff and do all these things. You know, how do you do two, 3 jobs? How do you do this, you know? So.
What are your top 3 values that you feel strongly about?
I'm going to say God first, my family, and my money. Anything else really don't faze me. But, you know, my religion, my family is so important to me. Like anything with my family, that would, get me off my blocker, and if somebody play with my money or something's going on with that. But anything else, I'm pretty a smooth, easygoing person. Most of my days are happy days. I'm thankful to be alive. I look at life as lessons. I'm always looking to advance and grow, and that's what I do. I surround myself with positive people, making positive moves, doing positive things, giving off good energy, and we all grow together. So, yeah, but little things really are, things don't really faze me too much. I be so caught up in the positive and, loving up on my family and my son. I really don't, entertain or think anything negative. I don't really have negative things around me because I don't involve myself with negative things or people. I stay clear of anything that's not, showing advancing me or, advancing my life. I really don't entertain it.
What legacy do you wish to leave on the world?
You know what, that is so funny you asked me that, because I always ask people, and I find that so interesting. I always ask people, just general. I asked somebody this yesterday, if you can explain me in 2 words, what would you say? Because it's interesting to see how people view you. You know what, and I think my legacy should be she lived, she loved, and she enjoyed life. Even when I leave here. I don't want no burial and all that. I want my son to cremate the body. I would say cremate the body, and I always tell my mom, y'all go have a big reception, or, I want there to be a big party, a celebration, because I didn't live my life sad. I'm not a downer. I'm not a sad person. I want to be celebrated. I don't want people to be crying, and, I said, I'm going to tell my son, you had a good mom, and she loved you, and she did everything to make you the best person that she could be, and she's just going on to higher, someplace higher. So we just passing through here, and she lived, and she was loving and caring and supportive and happy. She was happy person, good energy.
I hear you speaking of energy and different affirmations. What are your favorite affirmations, or like ones that you start your day with, or books that you are reading currently?
Well, currently I'm reading, it's like a poem book. I met a young gentleman. His name is Ezra Richardson. I met him at an event, and I purchased his book called Will Love. So I've been reading that just recently. But I do a lot of meditation. I had to learn to just take some me time and some downtime, because with my busy schedule, I do a lot of events, and I do a lot of things with my son. For one person, I do a lot of ripping and running. I mean, my days, before I even hit the office, I may have had to do 2 or 3 stops before I even drop him to school and head into the office. So, I do a lot of meditation and just me time and just thinking and just quiet time to myself, and it kind of helps to give me that jump start again. I had to really learn it.
With all of the ripping and running, what are your favorite things to do to recharge?
What I love to do, I love to go to the nail shop. I have an appointment. I'm going to go on Friday. I love to go to the nail shop and just relax. And my nail tech, he knows me so well. Just to get my feet rubbed and my hands massaged and have a little wine. I'll go to the nail shop, or I love vacations. I like to just lay out on a beach and hear the water and let the sun hit my body. I love the Caribbean. I just love to relax. Anything that got to do with me physically not moving is right up my alley. And then if the sun is out, I can feel that sun beating on my, but anything that I could do where I'm just really relaxing.
And as women, a lot of times we don't take the time to sit down, and from the time that we open our eyes to the time that we close them, we're working on something, even if you're not to the point where you're working for yourself yet and you're working for someone else. Even working from someone else, we're always thinking on how we can make their company better. How can we, make what we're doing more efficient for someone. And my niece just walked in. Hey, baby. Okay, but as a woman that's doing all of this, how do you manage the things that you're doing? How do you keep a positive mind? How do you, and also when you see the younger generation, what do you see that's missing that you wish you saw more of? Because the generation today is a totally different thing from the one that our parents had.
Definitely. And I think social media has a lot to do with a lot of the loss in generation. You know, a lot of the youth. I think the cell phones and the iPads and the Instagrams and the Facebook, it takes them away from the interaction with the parent. So I think as parents we need to be more involved, you know, with our children and what they're doing and what they're involved in. You know, and unfortunately there's a lot of younger parents these days. You know what I'm saying? A lot of younger parenting. You know,
and a lot
days,
of those people we end up mentoring, like naturally end up mentoring, because just knowing who you are and knowing how, you know, you rock. There's a lot of girls that look up to you and say, you know, you're doing so much and you're a mother. Like when we see you with your son, you're doing your, you know, you on your shit. And you don't, sometimes in this world, you don't see mothers who are taking care of their business with their children, working on their relationship, you know, and actually have a partner, you know, that they're actually getting to know and work with and starting a new legacy while bringing other girls along.
Right.
So
and
I
I
definitely,
think for me
you know,
personally, I think with my situation, because I always tell people, you know, because they're like, how do you do and you do all this and you know, I think because I was a lot older, you know, like not that I'm old, but I mean 37, like they were giving me tests like I was, you know, once you're over 35, but I knew I was a more mature. I have friends that have kids graduating college and my baby's only 2. But I appreciate the way I decided to do this because, one, I'm more financially stable than I was when I was in my early 20s. You know what I'm saying? 2, the thought process is different. My son has a life policy. You know, I have 401k. He has a savings account. You know, like he has all these things. He has Christmas Club. You know, I set up all these things for him. When I was in my early 20s, I wasn't thinking that. You know what I'm saying? I can afford to do certain things for him that I couldn't do in my early 20s. So I think along with age and then patience. You know, when you have children, you have to be extremely patient. I'm so patient with him. You know, I always tell his father, let him live. Like, I'm not over my son. I'm not going to say I let him do whatever because when he starts tearing up, but I want him to, you know, and I read a lot about kids. Since I had one, I started reading a lot about kids because I hadn't even changed the diaper before I had my son. Like, I was that chick, and I have nieces and a nephew, you know, but you know, I was the flat auntie, you know, always, you know, the party girl, the social girl. You know, I didn't have time to change diapers. But, you know, as an older mom, I'm more patient. I evaluate what he likes. I buy what he likes. You know what I'm saying? I learn my son. I watch how he moves. I see what he does, and we do that. You know, whatever he enjoys to do, I make sure I buy that, or I'm gonna take him to do that. You know, but I think with my age, you know, and then I've had experience. I've traveled. I've partied. I've done a lot in my years, so it's not like I was missing anything. So for me to just kind of, you know, have him and still work and do my thing, and I still enjoy life and go to events and I still do what I want to do, you know, but there's a balance there, you know.
And that's so important because when we become moms, it's like a lot of us, you know, we forget that we used to enjoy going out for drinks or hanging out with our girlfriends, and we get so caught up in being mom, we lose a part of ourselves, and then we wake up. So many black women and women of color, women period, so many women deal with depression and anxiety because they forgot how to have fun. Like, there are all these long names for those things. Go ahead.
People always tell me I look like better. Like, you look so much beautiful. You know, and not only I have lost mega weight after I had them, thank God, but they always say how much beautiful because I'm like, first of all, he gives me a joy that I can't explain, 1. And then 2, I can still live. Like, your life doesn't stop. He's just a whipped cream and a little cherry on top of that sundae. You know what I'm saying? He just adds to everything. You know what I'm saying? He's just the fun stuff, you know. But Mama get down to business, you know. I went to the Goddess Gathering. I don't know if you've seen my pictures I posted, and, you know, network with some sisters at the Women's. You know, I still go to events. I go to concerts. You know, I'll be going to a concert for Mother's Day. You know, I treat myself. I do a lot because you know what I've learned? When I'm happy and I'm content, then I can give that to my son. You know, if I'm down and miserable and sobbing,
yes,
he gonna pick that up. So I have to make sure I'm healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, so I can be the best for him. You know.
Yes,
that's
definitely.
Even with my diet, I don't drink all them sodas and stuff no more. I'm very cautious because I do understand I am a more, you know, mature, you know, mom in age. My baby's only 2. You know, I want to be around and give him some of them years. I want to see him graduate from college and get married. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be healthy as far as that as well. You know, mentally, I'm not trying to have a breakdown or high blood pressure or suffer from depression or have a stroke. I'm not doing that. You know,
and the
I
link people don't get between that is the stuff that we put in our mouths has energy as well as the people that we put around us. So if you feel in your body, if you feel in your body with a bunch of Cheetos and all this bullshit, and then you still breastfeeding your child and you wonder why your child is low energy, low vibration, it starts with the stuff that you're giving him. And then with most moms, they don't breastfeed and they don't read the packages and say what's in formulas. Like this stuff, no, your body was made to breastfeed, but every mom can't, or that's what they're taught.
Right.
But if you change the way you eat, you know, your body will heal itself and you can be around a lot longer. You know, sometimes the sugar, like I read a lot about sugar, and it pisses me off because it's the way people market it, the way the big corporations market it. It's on everything, and it's appealed to our children, and it's killing them. Sugar is maybe 1 or 2, you know. Sugar is linked to cocaine, and that's what our children are on, and then we wonder why they're, you know, having these different reactions. So, but I had to thank you for what's next for LaSheaVibez.
What's next for me? I have a couple business ventures that I'm really looking into getting, just to kind of set my son's future up. And I'm just going to keep posting YouTube videos, doing my makeup job, my professional job of 15 years, loving life, living, and just keep enjoying life and being a great mom.
I want to thank you for coming on Jaded Kisses Social, and I will see you guys tomorrow when I interview Renetta Freeney on the power and the value of packaging yourself into your brand. Till next time, guys, have a great night. Thank you.